Okay, that's fine.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I want to welcome you to the Futuro RGV and RGV Matters candidate forum for the runoff candidates, Democrat candidates for the office of U.S. Senate. And I want to thank our 2020 census sponsors, Rhodes Enterprises, Sam Garcia Architect, Frost Bank, IBC Bank, Clark Chevrolet, Val Peason, Ernie Williams, and Rio Bank. We're very pleased to have Royce West with us, who is the Democratic candidate for U.S. Senator from Texas. And Mr. West currently serves as a member of the Texas Senate, representing the Dallas-based 23rd District. He was named by Texas Monthly as one of the 10 best legislators in Texas, and he's received countless awards from community and business organizations for his leadership. He serves as the vice chair of the Senate Higher Education Committee and is a member of the Senate Committee on Education, Finance, and Transportation. Our media panelist is Davis Rankin, 710 KURV, the Valley's talk news station. And we'll start with a 1-minute opening statement by Royce West. Mr. West, 1 minute.
Thank you very much for pulling together this forum. And I'm pleased to be here with Davis in terms of him being the panelist to kind of do a community conversation. I have been a state senator for 27 years. I am a true Democrat. I've never voted in a Republican primary. I've always voted in Democratic primaries. And when you begin to look at my record, you'll see that on issues concerning immigration, education, women's rights, criminal justice, climate change, all those particular initiatives I've dealt with in the state Senate. My grandfather used to always say, and I know you can identify with this, you can kind of tell what a person's going to do in the future based on what they've done in the past. And so if you look at my record and you look at all of the people in the Valley that are supportive of my candidacy, you'll see that Royce West should be your next United States Senator. I'm asking you to go to roycewest.com, roycewest.com to get further information about my background. Thank you.
And now we would like to have our media panel help us know a little bit more about your vision for Texas and the RGV and your main areas of concern, and not just your concern, but by doing what to accomplish them, and how you intend to work cooperatively with colleagues on both sides of the aisle. So Davis, you're on.
That Nedra anticipated my question. 27 years in the Senate, Dallas has trended Democrat. I think it's finally Democratic and not going back to be Republican. You're on the leadership team in the Senate, which implies to me that you can get along with people who don't see it your way. Why leave that to go do this? And then if you get elected, the contentiousness in Washington?
Because the fact of the matter is our country is broken right now, Davis, and we need people that can work across the aisle in order to get things done. And I've prepared myself over these many years, given that I've always been in the minority party, but I've been able to get, frankly, groundbreaking legislation done in terms of education, criminal justice, and so many other areas.
Speaking of criminal justice, we know about the Floyd murder. There is a Republican proposition now announced today. It's not what the Democrats want, supposedly, but it's a start. What would you do? What would you be for? What would you be against? Were you up there on criminal justice reform in light of the Floyd murder?
Well, I'm hoping that there is some, I guess you should say, common denominators between both of the bills, because it makes it a heck of a lot easier to sit down and negotiate. The fact is that both houses now are saying that they want to get something done. The president floated a softball, a hardball, whatever you want to call it, yesterday, signaling his willingness to do something, but we could never determine what he's going to do given his demeanor and past performance. So I'm hoping that both houses can come together and get something done. And just like any other legislation, everybody has a proposal, and then you got to sit down. You must sit down at the table and figure out how many votes you have for the different proposals, and that's what I want to see done. I think chokeholds. I think that no-knock warrants, better training from police officers, having a national registry of police officers that either resign under allegations of misconduct. We need that so they don't go from one department to another department. That needs to happen. I think, frankly, that we should only have one definition in this country one law in this country that governs the use of deadly force, and that each state should adopt that particular law. It's supposed to have several different standards across the entire country. It should be just one standard, and there should be uniform policies concerning the use of deadly force across this country also.
There's a consensus, I think, right now, which could change, that everything has changed. Before the Floyd murder, race relations, police relations with the community, different, and now it's all different. Why do you think that is? Why this instance? Or do you agree with that?
Well, yes, I do. I think that it's changing. I think that this is kind of a boiling point, so to speak, when people actually saw someone murdered by a police officer on television. I mean, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Not only did you see it, your children saw it, your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, they saw it also. And guess what? That's going to be seared in their memory for the rest of their life. George Floyd didn't get up that morning, Davis, thinking that he would die that day. He didn't get up that morning thinking that his name would be known by people across this world and associated with this particular change that's coming in this country. It's not just African Americans, it's everyone across all the different ethnic groups that are saying change must occur. And the protest is, we've got to make certain that the protesters take the energy that's being generated by that and use it to vote. And if they do that and elect the right people, we're going to see more change coming in terms of racism. You need to ask people when you're talking to them, elected officials, do Black Lives Matter, okay? And see what they say. Then that'll tell you if they turn around and they have what I call a pause, then you know they're kind of thinking about an answer. But if they're very spontaneous with it, you know that they're part of the movement to change what's going on in this country, so everyone can fulfill our destinies.
What do you say Black Lives Matters means? I don't know anybody who's for extrajudicial killings of African Americans. That seems to be a given. So what does it mean beyond that?
Yeah, what it means beyond that is that African Americans shouldn't have to look over their shoulders. I'm 67 years old, and I still feel some anxiety when a police officer comes up behind me. And I work with police officers all the time. I bet you don't feel that. That's what I mean. Those types of anxieties, those instances where parents have to kind of warn their kids when they're leaving the house, being pulled over by a police officer for no reason, okay? When you're in school, and a lot of schools are integrated now, but not being picked on by teachers, administrators, students are gonna pick on you anyway, but not being picked on you because of the color of your skin, those types of things. Being able to get employment, regardless of the color of your skin, that's what I'm talking about when you talk about Black Lives Matter. A lot of African Americans are not hired just because of their race. And that happens, Davis. And we need to change that in this country.
We've got just a little bit of time left. Let me lurch to foreign affairs. If you're going to be in the Senate, you're going to be one of the top decision makers in the world, arguably. The president has always been leery of foreign entanglements, foreign involvements. He has announced that he wants to withdraw. I forget what percentage of troops that we have stationed in Germany now. They were put there after World War II as a bulwark against the Soviets, now the Russians. What do you think about that?
Well, as I think about most things that he's done, I was against him withdrawing from the Paris Accord on climate change. I was against him from withdrawing from the World Health Organization. I mean, the fact of the matter is that more things now are international as opposed to just domestic. We've got to have credibility across the globe. And frankly, under this president, we've lost a lot of credibility. So when he starts talking about troops, I know that people want to make certain that we're not fighting, we're not the world police anymore. But the question is it wise to do it? And so when I get to Congress, when I get to the Senate, I'll take a good hard look at those types of issues to make a determination as whether or not it's in our national interest to withdraw.
Well, we're done. Sorry. how about a wrap up? How about your pitch here, your short pitch, not your long pitch for a vote?
You know, my friends, I want you to ask some of your trusted leaders in the Valley about Royce West. They know who I am. They've worked with me, and many of them are endorsing my candidacy. The fact of the matter is most Democrats are endorsing my candidacy because I am the true Democrat in this race. I've been a convention chair for the Democratic Party. I serve on the Senate Democratic Executive Committee and also the DNC Executive Committee. So that shows you my commitment. I've been involved over an extended period of time. And so if you begin to look at the people that are endorsing me, let me just talk about some of the people that are endorsing me. Let me talk about the papers, the Dallas Morning News, the Houston Chronicle, the Fort Worth Star Telegram. All of them are endorsing my candidacy. The American Federation of Teachers, the CWA, the AFL-CIO are all endorsing my candidacy. And no, I don't have the millions and millions of dollars that my opponent has because the DNC, the state Democrat, the Democratic National Committee put its thumb on the committee, but I have the endorsement of most, not all, of the persons that ran for U.S. Senate in November, during the primary. Christina Ramirez, Sima Hernandez, Michael Cooper, Amanda Edwards, and Chris Bell are all endorsing my candidacy. They ran for this particular seat. Now they're supporting me and working with me. I'm hoping that you will make Royce your choice, and you can go to roycewest.com and get additional information about my position on issues, as well as find out a little bit about my background. Thank you very much.
Texas
I
State
wanna
Senator
thank
Royce.
you. Go ahead, David.
I'm sorry. Texas State Senator Royce West, thank you very much for your time, and we will talk with you again.
I look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
You've done this
And this
before,
will
I can
be,
tell. So
I've done it a few
This will
times.
be visible on our, go to YouTube and type off Runoff Candidate Forum 2020, and you can view the entire forum. And once again, thank you so much, Royce
My
West.
pleasure.
thank you, Senator.
Take care.
Mhm.